They don't want you to read this book. Seriously. Because once you do, you'll start seeing the hidden forces controlling your decisions, your emotions, and even your relationships. You'll notice how people are constantly trying to influence you, without you even realizing it. But the real question is, what happens when you turn the tables? There's a book that has been quietly shaping the most powerful people in the world. Politicians, CEOs, marketers, even cult leaders, they all use its principles to get what they want. It's not just a book. It's a weapon. And today I'm going to break down exactly what's inside it and how you can use it to gain total influence over any situation. But be warned, once you know this, you can't unsee it. Alright, let's start with a simple truth. Human beings are not as rational as we think we are. We like to believe we make choices based on logic, but in reality, our decisions are shaped by psychological triggers we don't even notice. That's what this book exposes. One of the most powerful concepts inside this book is reciprocity. This is the idea that when someone gives you something, even something small, you feel obligated to give something back. Marketers use this all the time. Ever wondered why you get free samples at a store? That's not generosity. That's psychological manipulation. The moment you take that free sample, your brain starts whispering, "You should buy something now." And it works. But what if you flipped it? What if you used reciprocity in your favor? Here's a trick. Next time you want someone to agree with you, do them a small favor first. Hold the door open, compliment their work, offer them a tiny piece of help. Their brain will automatically want to return the favor. Sounds simple, but it's insanely effective. Now let's talk about scarcity. People want what they can't have. The rarer something appears, the more valuable it seems. This is why luxury brands limit their stock, why limited edition items sell out instantly, and why you suddenly need that product when you see only 2 left in stock. And here's the crazy part. This works in human interactions too. Ever noticed how the person who seems the least interested in a relationship often has the most power? That's scarcity at play. If you act like your time and attention are limited, people will value them more. It's not about being rude, it's about showing that you are a scarce resource. Then there's authority. We are wired to follow people who appear to be in charge. If someone wears a lab coat, we assume they're a doctor. If someone speaks with confidence, we assume they know what they're talking about. Studies show that people are more likely to obey orders from someone in a uniform, even if those orders are questionable. Want to use this to your advantage? Speak with certainty. Even if you're unsure, act like you know. Use facts, statistics, and a strong tone. Most people won't question confidence, they'll follow it. Now here's where things get really interesting. Social proof. This is the idea that people look to others to decide what to do. If a restaurant has a long line, we assume it must be good. If a video has millions of views, we assume it's worth watching. This is why influencers can sell out products in minutes, because when others approve of something, we instantly trust it. Here's how you can use this in real life. If you want people to agree with you, show them that others already do. Instead of saying, "I think this is a good idea," say, "Most successful people do this." Instead of saying, "I like this book," say, "This book has changed the lives of thousands." It's a simple shift, but it makes your words far more persuasive. And now, let's talk about the commitment principle. People like to stay consistent with what they've already said or done. If someone publicly commits to an idea, they're far more likely to stick with it, even if they start to doubt it. This is why smart negotiators always start with small yes. If they want you to agree to something big, they'll first get you to agree to something small. It's called the foot in the door technique. Once you say yes to a minor request, your brain wants to stay consistent. And before you know it, you're saying yes to something much bigger. But here's where it gets really dangerous. This principle is the foundation of brainwashing. Cults use it. Manipulators use it. They get people to make tiny commitments first, show up to one meeting, sign up for one event. Then, slowly they pull them in deeper and deeper. Now, at this point you might be wondering, who wrote this book? And why haven't you heard more about it? The book I'm talking about is Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion by Robert Cialdini. It's one of the most powerful books on human psychology ever written, and once you read it, you'll start seeing these influence tactics everywhere. But knowing these tactics isn't enough. You have to know how to protect yourself from them. So let's break it down. If you don't want to be manipulated by reciprocity, recognize when someone is giving you something just to make you feel obligated. Pause. Ask yourself, do I actually want this, or am I just returning the favor? To avoid being trapped by scarcity, remind yourself, just because something is rare doesn't mean it's valuable. Take a step back and decide if you really want it, or if you're just caught up in the illusion of scarcity. To resist authority, always question credentials. Just because someone sounds confident or looks important doesn't mean they actually know what they're talking about. Look for actual expertise, not just appearance. To defend against social proof, ask yourself, am I making this decision because it's truly the best option, or just because everyone else is doing it? Just because something is popular doesn't mean it's right. And finally, to avoid the commitment trap, be okay with changing your mind. Just because you said yes to something small doesn't mean you have to say yes to everything that follows. Train yourself to recognize when you're being slowly pulled in and step back. The truth is, influence is everywhere. Every ad, every social media post, every conversation, it's all about persuasion. But now you have the knowledge to see it. The question is, how will you use it? If you found this video eye-opening, there's another book that dives even deeper into the hidden forces controlling your mind. Click here to watch that next.